Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Williams Fitness back again with another video. So, this is what I want to touch on today. I was tagged yesterday by Coach Tal, which is Big Ramy's manager. And the reason he tagged me in a post on Instagram yesterday was a few months ago, Tal reached out to me basically because I did a video on Ramy and his guest posing a few months back. And he basically just called me out and said, look, have you got a problem with Big Ramy? What's the issue? Rah, rah, rah. So, to be honest, we went back and forth over a few messages, and I just basically said, Luke, he was guest posing. I felt he should have, come in a bit drier, a bit cleaner, considering he wasn't competing this year. And we went back and forth, and funnily enough, now we're friends. We're cool. We speak, once, maybe twice a week. And he's tagged me in this recent post. Now, this video, what I want to touch on is how far Ramy has come, and obviously see if we can predict where this might place him going forward. Has he made the improvements he needed to make, etc. So, obviously, Ramy has announced a few weeks ago that he will be at the Arnold Classic Ohio, which is cool. Can't wait to see him back on stage actually in a competitive form. Obviously, Ramy has won 2 Arnold Classics before. He's won the Arnold Classic Brazil and he's won the Arnold Classic Europe. So, he's not a stranger to the Arnold Classic stage and winning on it also. So, first thing I want to touch on with Ramy is actually not his physique just yet. What I want to touch on is Dragon Farmer. And the reason I want to touch on this is they've actually brought Ramy out more. And what I mean by this is, if you scroll back to before he was signed with Dragon Farmer, he was posting, but it was sort of the same repetitive sort of posts, maybe the odd advert thrown in the mix with them. And I think Dragon Farmer has been good for Ramy because he's posting more content. They're posting very regular on their YouTube channel, which I highly recommend you check out. They should just rename it Dragon Farmer Big Ramy, because it's all Ramy. It's some actually really good content as well, following the, like a day in the life of what he's eating, how he's training. And I think this is a big thing for Ramy, because I genuinely think back in the day, if we go back to say 2016, 2017, Ramy's a very shy guy. He is. Obviously, he's in the public limelight, and I think back then, especially 2016 and 2017 with the whole rivalry with Phil, I think that can play a big part on somebody mentally, especially when you've got to get up on stage against these big time winners. So I genuinely think that, Dragon Farmer have brought Ramy out and basically molded him a little bit better into almost like a people's champion. He's posting a lot more quality content, which I love. Now, let's skip straight to his physique. Now, obviously, in the post he created saying he was going to be competing at the Arnold Classic Ohio, which I think is the 3rd to the 5th of March next year. So it's not that far away at all. He is off-season 350 pounds. 350 pounds. Now, the biggest I've seen on stage was probably Dorian Yates, which just tipped the scale over 300. If anyone else has got any clips of anybody, heavier than that, actually competing, not guest posing, I'd love to see that. But yeah, so where's Ramy improved? I genuinely think at his last guest posing, where obviously me and Coach Tal, who's his manager, went back and forth, I don't think he was in good condition for that. I genuinely don't. I still stand by that. However, I do think he's made a lot of improvements. I think the circle of people he's got around him now are bringing him out more. He seems a hell of a lot more confident on all these YouTube videos, which plays a big role mentally in prepping for any sort of show. So the improvements I think he's made, the problem he had was obviously given his frame and his size, he has to pack on a serious amount of muscle, which then obviously creates issues with flows, with his lining, and it's sort of trying to balance the whole package out to obviously stay huge, which is Rolly has the same sort of issue. Obviously, he is a mass monster, but obviously keeping that flow and the symmetry can be very hard with that quantity of muscle on the frame. Now, I genuinely think his quads have got better. I still think his delts are slightly too big, but given the size of his frame to his V-taper, I think it helps him a lot more to give the illusion of a smaller waist, because obviously it's coming in from the shoulders down to the sort of the pubic bone sort of area. So I think that obviously helps Ramy. I think his back's come on a lot better. Lower back doesn't still need improvement from what I've seen. Obviously the clip that Coach Tal tagged me in, was just basically him flexing in a mirror. But I think it was more of a, he tagged me, RX Muscle, and some other dude, basically just saying, Luke, what you saying now? Which I kind of loved. I do love Coach Tal. He's actually a really nice dude. However, do I think Big Ramy can be a Mr. Olympia going forward? I do. I genuinely do. Given how far he's come in the last 12 months, given the work he's putting in now on those weaker areas, I think he's actually taking it on board, sort of the last quarter of this year, and he's making those improvements, which is what I like to see. It's all good and well, people pointing out, Philly's bubble gut, this, that, and the other. If they're not taking this information on board, using it, utilising it, and improving, then they're never going to get any further. Now, given how far Ramy's come so far, I don't think he's Mr. Olympia quality just yet. He's still got a few months of hard graft to do to tweak these areas. Obviously, the quads, I think, might be an issue for Ramy. Just because of his size, he has to pack on a serious amount of muscle. But what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. Do you think Ramy could be Mr. Olympia 2020? Do you think he's made improvements? Do you think, let's say if we had the full lineup and we've got the likes of Roden, obviously Heath, Rowley, and let's not forget, obviously, this year's winner, Brandon Curry. We had second place. We had William Bonac. Do you think Ramy can be a top 5 contender with all those guys in the lineup? Because obviously, let's not forget, everyone else is improving as well. I'm glad Ramy took the year out. I'm genuinely glad that he is taking all these bits of information on board and tweaking it to bring out the best in him. I am going to speak to Coach Tell, see if I can get him on sort of a live interview, maybe with a few other people, and just get his perspective on it. Because like I said, we did go back and forth. It wasn't like a heated conversation. And I respect him for reaching out and saying, what's your beef? And I basically said, look, I haven't got any beef. I just think he needs to tweak these areas. And, we've been pretty cool ever since. So drop a comment below. Do you think he could be a Mr. Olympia? Do you think I'm right? Do you think he is making these significant improvements? Obviously, the delts to the V-taper, I think, could benefit him a hell of a lot. He obviously needs to work the lower back area, but again, that can come down to conditioning, not just training. So obviously, once he's dieted down, that could show more improvement. But yeah, drop a comment below. I've been me, you've been you. Peace.